So first of all, I want to say happy Canada Day to all my fellow Canadians out there. Stay safe and of course social distance. But getting back to the video, I wanted to take a few minutes with this one to go over three very interesting topics revolving around PS5 backwards compatibility with PS3, 2, and 1. Another topic looking into Sony probably being forced to price the PlayStation 5 cheaper. And finally, Naughty Dog talking PlayStation 5. First, let me know if there was a difference of $100 in price between the digital PS5 and disc-based PS5. Would you go all digital? Some people would rather save that money for more games and an extra controller, etc. But there are those who also value physical games a lot. So comment below if there was a price difference of $100 between the digital and physical PlayStation 5. Would you go all digital? Let me know down in the comments below. Now, diving into the first story of the video, Naughty Dog talking PlayStation 5. I know a lot of people have beef with Naughty Dog right now because of Last of Us 2, but I'll say this for the game, as I've said before in my review, it has great gameplay, probably the best graphics on any console, a beautiful world, and some of the best animations out there. They still built a great game whether you liked or disliked the story. So we had Neil Druckmann recently sit down with Reggie Fils-Aimé, who used to be the president of Nintendo America, of course. He has a podcast now called New York Video Game Critics Circle, and Neil was a guest. In this podcast, Neil discussed the PlayStation 5. Now, I'm not going to read everything he said because there was a good chunk of content, but I want to reiterate this part. Here's the statement. One of the things that we're excited by is the solid state drive and what it means for almost seamless loading. We do so much work on our end. Once you start the adventure, you never see a load screen. And there's so much work that happens behind the scenes of how we design the levels, how we chop them up, and it's all invisible to the player. You never see any of that work. But now, knowing that we're going to be able to load things more quickly, it just means the designers don't have to be as constrained by how they lay things out, how we think about things when we load new characters. So I'm excited to see the doors that open for us. So this point of loading data fast is something we've heard before, but the part about the design is the interesting one for me. Mark Cerny also mentioned how designers actually have to create all of these pathways to slow the character down or slow the player down to load assets. And of course, we all know the going through a tight area to load the other side trick as well at this point. I'm just personally wondering how design will be next gen, and if we've become so accustomed to these gameplay mechanics for loading assets that it'll just be weird if they're not there anymore. I guess we'll see. Let me know if you guys think Naughty Dog should work on a new IP or something like The Last of Us Part 3 or another Uncharted game for the PlayStation 5. Let me know down in the comments below. Now diving into the second story of the video, backwards compatibility. This might not be anything really big, but I thought I'd mention it here in this video. We know that Sony is bringing PS4 backwards compatibility at the hardware level on the PlayStation 5, and they've tested and are still testing hundreds of games for the PlayStation 5 before the launch of the console later this year. And of course, we've seen all the patents which hinted to something more, but really nothing came out of those patents at this point. In terms of the latest news, Japanese website GameSpark connected to a spokesperson from Sony Computer Entertainment Japan and asked for information in regards to PS5 backwards compatibility, and the response from Sony was this. We focus working on PS4 backwards compatibility so that users can move to new console with their PS4 libraries. There's nothing we can answer about backwards compatibility with PS1, PS2, and PS3. So this includes stuff we pretty much already know, but the last part of this, saying there's nothing we can answer instead of just straight up saying there won't be any backwards compatibility for those past consoles, has people intrigued. I can't lie, I got interested as well. I'll say this to everyone, as always, control your expectations on this topic. But if Sony were to just drop this announcement later this summer, I think that would be a pretty huge moment for Sony. Not saying that it's happening and not saying that it is not happening. This is just what we have right now. Let me know if you guys still have hope for backwards compatibility to go beyond just the PlayStation 4, or if you even care anymore. Let me know down in the comments below. Now, diving into the final story of the video, the PS5's price. This is a discussion that we've gone over multiple times, and I really believe it's still up in the air depending on who goes first. If one company prices low, the other has no option but to follow suit. But if one prices it higher, it'll give leverage to the other company who announces the price afterwards. It's just a ridiculous game we're playing right now, as you guys already know. I've kind of ignored all of these price listings or rumors going around recently, but I want to talk about something the person who leaked the PS5 reveal date recently stated in regards to pricing for the Xbox Series X. So, I'm sure you guys know the person I'm referencing, of course. It's Jeff Grubb, and he stated the following recently. Microsoft shutting down stores and pulling the plug on Mixer sounds like the kind of thing you do if you are looking through your books for opportunities to offset selling an expensive console at a loss. Now, this isn't something a lot of people have mentioned or thought about, even myself, but I guess there is some logic there looking at how recently these news stories broke out, and with rumors that prices of next-gen consoles probably being revealed later this summer, you start to think this makes sense to a certain degree. We've also heard rumors that Microsoft is willing to sell the Series X at $400 and the rumored Series S at a crazy $200, which would result in Microsoft selling these consoles at big losses, of course. But with that, we know Microsoft and Sony really make their money from digital sales and subscriptions, and I'm sure Microsoft realizes how important it is to start the console generation strong. So I wouldn't be surprised if they went with this pricing. And this, of course, brings us back to the PlayStation 5. If Microsoft is willing to price the Series X at $400, I can't see Sony willing to go at $499. They do have the digital console, so that console could be $399 and the disc-based console could be $499, but that will result in people drawing comparisons and wondering why the Xbox Series X priced at $399 with a disc is $100 cheaper than its equivalent on Sony's side. If Microsoft drops $399 for a Series X and $199 for a Series S, Sony would have to counter with something like $349 for the digital PlayStation 5 and $399 for the physical PlayStation 5. These are all just guesses for right now, of course, but if those were the prices, I'll be saving a good chunk of money on buying both of those consoles later this year. But you guys let me know if you think Microsoft would actually be willing to sell a Series X at $400, resulting in Sony probably pricing their PS5 similar. Let me know down in the comments below, and if you guys did enjoy this video, please hit that like button as it always helps, and subscribe if you're new. I got new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and now I'll check you guys out on the next one. And welcome back to the after show. This is the part of the video where we have a little fun down in the comments below. If you're old, welcome back. If you're new, welcome. For today's thing, what I want you guys to do is to body, obliterate, destroy, and overall harass the comment section with compete for my money, because whether you care more about Xbox, whether you care more about Sony, both of these companies competing with each other just means better things for us. So if you're excited for that, destroy the comment section with compete for my money, and I'll definitely heart those comments like I always do, because I appreciate everybody who stays to the end of my videos. And now I'll check you guys out on the next one.